Hello Park Art friends, this is Miss Molly here to do another fun art project with you. Our word today is cultural symbols, so it's actually two words, cultural symbols. You will learn that lots of cultures have different pictures that have deeper meaning to them. Today we're going to learn about the Native American culture, and we're going to create some teepee pictures that have Native American symbols that you choose to put on your teepee. So first, let's learn a little bit about Native American culture. Culture is a group of values, beliefs, and behaviors shared by a group of people. You might share a culture with your school and follow some of the same beliefs and behaviors as people in your school. You might also identify with the culture of your ethnic background. Do you have the same beliefs or behaviors as people from where your ancestors came? You can also share a culture with your religious group if you practice religion. Your school culture might share some of the same beliefs, some of the same rules. You might even share the same uniform. You might work towards the same celebrations. What are some symbols your school uses? Do teachers use the same symbol to get students to be quiet? Does your school have a mascot? That could be the symbol of your school's pride. A symbol is a picture that has a deeper meaning. For example, a four-leaf clover can be a symbol of luck. Lots of times cultures use symbols. Cultures have used symbols throughout time. Do you recognize what culture these symbols belong to? These are Egyptian symbols that have many different meanings. These symbols are from the Hawaiian culture. For this project, we're going to learn about Native American culture. What do you already know about Native American culture? There is so much to learn about the many different tribes. Even just in Connecticut, there were many different tribes with many different customs and beliefs. Ceremonies or gatherings, sometimes called powwows by some tribes, are important times when the culture gathers together and dances and performs certain ceremonies that are meaningful in many different ways. Animals are considered sacred to many Native Americans. After hunting, they would try to use as much as the animal as possible. One way animal skins were used were in the teepees made by Native Americans. Teepee comes from the Lakota word that means dwelling. Why do you think Native Americans chose teepees to live in? Some reasons are that they would stay cool in the summer and warm in the winter. They also allowed the smoke to rise out of the hole in the top. Some Native Americans, like the Plains Indians, were nomads and they would move from spot to spot. The teepee was easy to pick up and roll up and carry to the next place. Sometimes the skilled painter of the tribe might paint a design or a symbol that showed someone's experience or dreams on the teepee. What symbol are you going to draw on your teepee? Okay, to get started for this project, you will need watercolors, water, scissors, glue stick, and crayons. You're going to need a white paper for the background and a brown paper for the teepee. I'm actually using a recycled brown paper bag, but a brown paper works just fine. I'm also going to take the rest of my paper bag and slide it under my paper just so I don't get paint on my table. Okay. What we're going to do in the background is a nice sunset. You can paint your sunset any way you'd like, but I'm going to give you a few pointers. For the sunset, you can think of colors you notice when you look at the sunset. I like to think of warm colors like red, orange, and yellow. What I'm going to do is take my brush and I'm going to start with red, and then I'm going to go to orange, and then I'm going to go to yellow. So I'm just going to do stripes across the sky. I'm going to start on this side of my paper and go all the way to that side of my paper. When I'm doing skies, I usually paint left to right, which is horizontal, because it's like the horizon going left to right. Dip in your water, get your paint, and continue left to right. You can do a couple strokes of red, and I'm going to work down my paper. I think next I'm going to do orange. So I can get my orange. And I'm just going to do a few stripes of orange. If you want, you can experiment with mixing a little orange into your red and seeing what that looks like. Red, orange. I'm going to do one more stripe of orange, and now I'm going to add my yellow. Colors blend really nicely together. If you want, you can experiment with maybe bringing a little bit of red down to your yellow. Let's see what that looks like. And if you do it while it's wet, it will create this really cool blending effect. But you might want it just to be more stripes. Let's see what yellow looks like up here. I like to experiment and try new things when I'm painting. I left this area at the bottom for our ground that our teepee is going to go on. So for the ground, I'm just going to peel the back of a brown crayon. I'm going to peel the wrapper off just a little bit so I can get a little piece of brown. I'm going to break a little piece off, and I'm going to do a crayon rubbing. So I'm going to pinch this in between my fingers and just rub my crayon from left to right. This lets us color really quickly, and it also is going to give a really nice texture to our ground. Now I'm going to paint over that. So if you wanted sand, you might choose yellow, or you might choose brown. If you want grass, you might choose green. So the brown would look like this. The crayon kind of pushes it away to get a nice earthy ground. You may want to use green. Let's see what using a little bit of green looks like. I think I'm going to do some little patches of grass. So I'll put a little bit of green in some different spots. And now we have a nice ground for our teepee to go on. Okay, now we want to make our teepee. A teepee is what shape? It's a triangle. So we're going to fold our paper in half and cut half a triangle. So it's going to be like that shape. Okay, so you're going to take your brown paper or your paper bag, fold it in half, and now we're going to start at the top, go down and over. So that's the shape you'll be cutting out. Now I'm going to cut along the line. Open that up, and you should have a nice triangle shape. Also, there's an opening on the top for the fire to get out, so I'm just going to cut a little curve on the top. Now I'm going to clear my area here. And do you remember what the teepee was made out of? The teepee was made out of animal skin. So to make this look a little bit more like animal skin, I'm going to crunch it into a ball, not too tight, and I'm going to reopen it so it has some texture, some wrinkly texture, more like an animal skin. Now what I'm going to use to design my teepee is my crayons, and I'm going to look at my Native American symbols and decide which ones I want. I have decided that I like the happy symbol because it's always my goal to be happy in life, and the peace symbol because I think in order to be happy, we all need to find peace. So choose what symbols mean something to you, and then you can use your crayons on the paper bag. I'm going to use a nice bright orange for my happy symbol. When you're looking at a symbol, just take it one step at a time. I notice this is a circle. I want to do my happy symbol right in the center of my teepee. And then there's another circle around it. And then there are lines right above, 2 lines, 2 lines, 2 lines. So maybe pick a symbol you feel confident drawing or one that's meaningful to you. And just take it one step at a time. Now my peace symbol, where would that look good? I think I want to do it twice, once here and once here, to show that you need peace in all directions to find happiness. All people need to work together to make a peaceful community. So what would my peace, I think I'm going to use green for my broken arrow, which is a symbol of peace, because green makes me feel peaceful. So I'm going to go, it's an angle up and an angle down, and I have lines going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and a little arrow on this part. I'm going to put one up here as well. So before you draw them, kind of think about where they will look good on your teepee. Maybe they'd look good centered. Maybe you could make a pattern with your symbols. And I am happy with that. Now you might want to add some more designs to your teepee. You might pick a few colors that you think look good with the colors you picked. You might want to do some lines or some shapes. For example, I might do a straight line. I might make my straight line thicker. You might do a zigzag line. What other kinds of lines or shapes might you add to your teepee? Now, if you noticed in the pictures of teepees, they weren't completely covered, so you don't want to do too much and color your whole thing in, just a few designs. Now to balance this out, I think I'm going to put it up here to make my drawing nice and balanced. So I'm going to do a pink line and a blue zigzag and a blue zigzag. And I am happy with my teepee. I think that looks great. Now we're ready to glue our teepee on to our background, but before we do, I'm going to show you one little trick that you can put a door on your teepee. So right in the center, I'm going to cut a door, but I'm not going to cut it straight. I'm going to angle it to the side and just make an angled cut like that. Okay, just an angled cut. Now I can put glue all around the edge of my triangle shape. And I'm going to leave right next to the door. I'm not going to put any glue there because I want to be able to flap open my door. Just along the edge. Make sure I cap my glue to take care of it. And when I'm placing my teepee, I'm not going to put it right where the land touches the sky. I like to usually move it down a little bit so it really looks like it's on the land. And then you're going to press along the edges. The better you hold and press down your glue, the more your art will stay together. So really take the time to make sure it's on there good. And then you can actually flip open this little door right here. So the door to your teepee kind of sticks out a bit if you'd like to do that. And a final touch, I'm going to show some sticks coming out of the top of my teepee because as you saw, Native Americans would put long poles up and then put the animal skin over it. So I'm going to do a line that way and kind of crisscross a line, make it look like some long sticks. And there is my art. Thanks for making art with me. I hope you enjoyed learning about culture, and I hope you enjoyed learning about Native Americans and designing your teepee with Native American symbols. So you might think about different symbols in your culture, and maybe you want to make your own art based on your own culture. But it's always good to research and study different cultures because we can learn so much from each other. I hope you had fun, and I hope you send your picture to Real Art Ways so we can see your artwork, and join me for the Zoom meeting so we can make art together and share. Have a great day!